Hello, everybody, and welcome to a double-length, two-episode coverage of the Legends of Chima TV series. That's right. It's been in the works for quite some time. A special two-length, maximum quality, epic-level review of the Legends of Chima TV show. No, I'm kidding.
It's just double length.
Yeah, we totally just didn't do it last week. My apologies for the delay. We were very backlogged with stuff that we had to get taken care of, and Chima was not able to fit in, so we said we may as well just wait till next week. So,
Yeah.
Right. Fuel coverage.
my apologies, but we are here, and as always, the links to the episodes can be found in the description below. Now, this time we are going to be talking about two episodes, both very interesting for very different reasons, I would say. Which one? It's episode 31, I believe. Proper chronology, The Crescent, and 32, Fired Up. And, yeah. We are going to begin with The Crescent, of course. And what, Elder?
No, I was just about to say Crescent. Oh my goodness, the episodes though are very polarizing. I feel though, so
Yeah,
one's really good, one's really meh.
quite right.
Yeah. Crescent, you start.
Okay, so with The Crescent, this was a very plot-driven episode. Lots of stuff went down. There's also some good humor too, and basically the gist of the episode is Ares wants to get Fire Chief for the rest of the tribes, and the Phoenix are like, well, okay,
Nah.
we'll let them, but they're gonna have to prove themselves first by defending a hill, and it was the hill on a prior episode that was resistant to the ice, and that was pretty much the theme of the whole episode. They defended this hill, and it was all the tribes, all the 8 main tribes, including the useless bears. They're back again. And they just basically shot a bunch of stuff with lasers and discovered that they could supercharge their speedors with the fire and ice chi, respectively. Giant fights ensued. Antics ensued as well. Skinnet was there to be annoying.
There's subplot.
Yeah, I'm getting to the subplot. Yes.
Okay.
And while all that was going on, there was a funny subplot with Laval's father and one of the lions. I think it was Longtooth. About how Laval's father has no sense of humor. And he was very upset to hear this. So along with Longtooth was basically trying to do a bunch of stuff to get him to laugh. And none of it worked. And it increased in absurdity slowly as the episode went on. And
They dressed a lion statue in a bikini.
yeah, it was very interesting and very funny, and it eventually culminated in a nice way. But we'll get to that in a minute. So, yeah, they did a bunch of stuff on the hill. They fought. They were actually losing. They got cornered pretty badly, and then the Phoenix Temple took flight off of Mount Kavora and came and saved them after Skinnet nearly messed up the whole operation by being a chump. Hope he doesn't get any fire chi. But anyway, yeah, and then we were introduced to a new character when the Phoenix tribe came to save the day, and that is Layla, the lioness, aka
Whose dad's a tiger.
whose dad is like the right-hand man of Fluminox. His name's Tormak, the tiger.
And also a tiger. So I wanna emphasize that because that's like that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know who her mother is, but that's okay. Here's the thing, right? She says, "Oh, I thought I was the only lion." Okay, fine, but then how were you born? Like, all right, if her dad's a tiger and her mom's a lion and she happens to be a lion, then okay. But then she wouldn't be like, oh, I thought I was the only one. She'd be like, I thought my mom was the only one alongside me. So how was she born? Can like tigers just give birth to lions? Is that vice versa? Really?
I suppose.
I don't know.
Well,
The genetics of
I believe I recall I recall seeing somewhere. I'm not sure how true it is. I'm not sure if it's just a rumor or whatever. But apparently she's adopted. Or she was found back somewhere.
That makes a lot more sense. Okay.
Yeah. That's just what I'm hearing. It may not be true, but I think it is based on what we saw. And
Yeah,
she's
she's
Laval's
really
love
lovely.
interest and stuff. I guess it's not Ares, which I do not mind because she's not a good character.
Aries, like, she seems very amused that Laval is like that, even though she got. I think she might go like psycho jealous, the same way she did with. No, not really psycho jealous, but like she got really jealous of Laval and Cragger's bromance at the beginning of the season. So it might come back in a huge way. Is her relationship with that Rhino guy like ever brought up again?
I think it's a dropped plot.
Because I was kind of MIA in season 2.
It was brought up heavily in that season, but it has not been mentioned once yet. So, yeah.
Okay. So they're just like a half on, half off thing, like most high school students I know.
Pretty much.
All right.
But no, it was, and then it culminated in the most hilarious way ever. Where Laval's father, the thing that finally made him laugh, was Laval telling him he met a girl and was in love.
Yeah, and it sounds like that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, and then he like burst out into insane chuckles and walked away, and Laval was like offended.
Yeah.
It was the perfect way to end it. It was top notch. So that was the episode. Bunch of stuff happened in between. The other tribes got their fire chi. Some of the other tribes stole some chi from Ares, who was doing a terrible job of keeping it. The Ravens were funny, selling stuff at vending booths and whatnot. My main concern watching the episode was that it seemed like stuff was going to get very one-sided very quickly in terms of combat. Like they built up the hunter tribes to be so fearsome, and now they're just getting wrecked by fire chi. And I'm wondering, because this is supposed to continue not just for 9 more episodes this year, but this is next year's plot line too, Fire versus Ice. So I'm wondering how long they can drag this out. What can they do to kind of shift the power balance back in the hunter's favor for a while?
Well, they do have a nice thing with Sir Fengar being very strategically minded.
Yeah.
I mean, his strategy in this one wasn't too complex, but it was still a strategy. He split up his army into 2 separate.
Well, that's the next episode.
Factions. Oh, that is the next episode.
Yeah, and he did have some good strategy mindset. It seems like he's a smart dude, but he kind of sucks at fighting. Maybe because he's just.
I feel like Sir Fengar is a very smart guy whose entire army is made up of idiots.
Yeah. But
because I mean that's his draw, right? Like he was the smartest dude in like all the other dumb animals.
Yeah, that is very true. It just seems like he's very intelligent, but he just can't fight all that well because he got wrecked by
Right. He's getting like wrecked by everybody because he's been frozen for thousands of years, and everybody else is kind of dumb. So
maybe he'll just practice and get better. I don't know, but I don't know. I loved the episode. Truth be told, it was one of my favorites that they've done. There was humor, there was plot, there was more humor, there was plot advancement. That's the big thing with all the tribes now kind of being to a place where they can effectively combat the hunters. There were some things I did not like Skin It. He kind of broke the flow with stupid humor. I was not too appreciative of that. It would have been like perfect if they hadn't had him in there. Sir Fangar's lack of fighting skill as displayed beforehand, getting decimated in the Speedor battle. And what else was there? Not much else. It was pretty solid. What do you guys think?
Who's the guy that's always hating on Skin It?
Oh yeah, we do have a fan. Stink Bomb something.
Yeah,
sorry.
Stink Bomb something. Sorry, man.
We're not.
Skin It has gotten better.
Yeah,
He's
no,
original.
Skinner has gotten better because he hasn't been around.
Exactly. Like when he first started, he was that whole sorry thing, which was like, But then now he's less of like this huge joke and more like or less of a one-off joke and more of like
The
this
background
character that keeps
character. Yeah.
right as a background character. I don't know. I didn't. He was my least favorite part of this episode too, but he could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
I've seen him be a lot more kind of before. So,
That is quite true. Aljo, what'd you think?
but
I really enjoyed this episode. I legitimately laughed at pretty much 95% of it. The subplot with Laval's father and Longtooth, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that at first it was kind of like, they're doing another one of these. But it got funnier and funnier when it got to the statues. That was it. That was the climax of that joke. That was really funny. And it was overall a very funny episode. There was a lot of really good humor in it. And yeah, plot advancement, plot, character stuff.
Oh yeah, plot. Who cares? Let's go.
Well, no, I mean,
Let's go back to
that's
the
good.
days of 10 episodes of filler humor. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it was an overall well-rounded episode, and it was very funny to watch. Yeah, but Skinner, either get Skinner entire tribe to just hang out with, like maybe on the moon, away from everyone else,
Maybe on the
or
moon.
just have him die, like Lavertus, quote unquote.
Ah, too soon.
No, it's never going to be too soon. But yeah, so it was really good. But yeah, Laval, Skinner, you dumb.
Yup.
But I did enjoy this episode. It was one of the funniest.
Kai, do you have any other thoughts besides Skin It could have been worse?
I actually the thing about the subplot is that it could have been a pretty bad subplot just from the premise. It could have been handled very, or it could have been handled a lot more poorly than it actually was, and I thought it was handled pretty well. I like the idea that we're able to see some of the characters in an interactive position that we don't normally see them in.
Yeah.
Well, Vol's father and Longtooth are these two characters that like they're really only there when they need exposition and stuff like that, and you don't really get a lot of stuff with just Laval's father just by himself, you know?
Yeah, which kind of
He's
sucks.
always
He's
him
one of the better
Laval's
voiced
stuff.
dudes in the whole show.
Right, he has one of the better voices in the entire show, and he's also, I mean, he's just one of those characters that you just expect to be there for exposition to just carry the main characters. So it's really nice to see him get some good development, or not really development, just some interaction.
Yeah.
I feel like interaction with characters is really good for a series of a lot of them.
Very true. Especially like Chima, there's tons of characters for each tribe.
Right, there's a ton of characters, and some of them are varied degrees of interesting. So the fact that we're able to get some more interest for these characters is really, really nice. And I love this subplot a lot. The introduction, now, I'm not quite sure about the introduction of the new lioness character. What's her name?
Layala.
Leia.
Yeah, I forgot about her.
I'm not. I guess she kind of seemed to come out of nowhere. Her introduction was kind of like, by the way, I have a daughter. You're not allowed to date her. Laval's like, I'm gonna date her. And his dad's like, no. And then Laval's like, why you gotta be so rude? And don't you know I'm a lion too?
Did you seriously just do that? Did you really just tie those two things together?
I totally just did that.
You are sick.
If Becca was here, she would be so proud. She would start singing.
Yeah, she would start singing, and then we'd have to can her for copyrighted music.
Becca should watch Chima and join us for the coverages.
Don't.
Yeah.
It's my day off, Meso. I'm trying to have a nice day off without headaches.
Ouch. Well, now we know what Becca is you. So that's the one thing I thought was handled a little poorly, was the introduction of his character. And granted, she hasn't been in a lot of episodes. I think her voice actor is pretty fine so far.
I see a lot of people complaining about her voice, but I think it sounded okay.
I think it sounded okay. I do get it. It's a bit more like monotone-ish. Like it's not like a very hyper like an Ares voice, or like what's her name, the gorilla. I like the gorilla voice in the next episode.
Yeah.
That's another thing that we'll talk about later on. She just keeps. I guess like right now, she just seems like a character that's just kind of there.
Yeah.
She doesn't really have a lot of character to her.
Yeah.
That I can see so far, so
It's like she's just
I'm
trying to
not
give
quite
all
sure.
something to do other than be annoying.
Right. She's a supporting character for Laval as opposed to being another character that
Maybe
sorry, I was trying to thought there.
maybe she will have character growth. Hopeful.
Maybe she will. I also thought that same way with Kragger originally, and Kragger has gotten a lot better now that he plays off Laval in that sarcastic-ish way.
Yeah, he was a terrible villain. The worst mistake they ever did for Chima was having 20 episodes where Kragger was like the main villain. He's much better as just Laval's sarcastic friend.
Yeah.
But okay,
Exactly.
that is all for episode 31. What was the title? The Crescent. Very very high note. Very good episode. And then the next one, which is not bad, but it is also not as good, I feel. Primarily because a lot of people are going to see it as a filler episode. I'm not so sure if it's filler per se, but it's definitely less plot driven than the one, the Crescent was. A brief recap of what it entails. Basically, starts off, you're literally thrown right into the middle of a giant fight. No explanation, just a giant fight. And I guess the tribes are actually taking a very, proactive approach to the problem. They say, we have all this fire chi. Instead of bumming around, wasting time for 10 episodes, let's take these guys out right now. Let's mobilize our forces and let's get them and just destroy them. Let's not delay. So they go, giant fight, and it actually looks like they've beat them and pushed them down into the gorge, but nope. It's all part of the plan. And basically Sir Fangar comes up with a plan to trick them into thinking they've been defeated, send the mammoths back to the base where they know they're going to try to attack, and then have them wait, and while they're within range of the base, then surprise attack them and basically surround them between the base and the troops that are stationed there, and then the mammoths, and split up his forces to where the people in the gorge are going to try to go to the gorilla's place, which Gorzan had offhandedly mentioned had gobs and gobs of chi. And steal.
Say that right.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta say it like you have a frog leg in your throat. Gobs and gobs of chi.
Well, I'm sorry, gobs and gobs. My bad. And
Still, but still.
it's actually a very smart move because the people of Chima are too dumb to realize that, an enemy of theirs would actually try a strategic encounter like that, because all their enemies thus far have been pretty stupid. And they would have completely fallen for it too had one of the mammoths not offhandedly mentioned it later on. But
Right.
yeah, basically they think they're defeated, and then the Phoenixers are like, no, don't melt the mountain, because if you melt it all at once, it's going to flood Chima, because it's a huge mountain. It has to be done slowly, so, take a break. Before you do that, I have something important you need to do, and that's babysit my son. And we met this dude before. His name's Flinks.
It's like it's quote unquote babysitting because the son is apparently thousands of years old, except he hasn't aged. I'm not sure how that works per se.
Yeah, it's probably something with Phoenix,
the
like
son is
Pokemon, probably, where they upgrade when certain conditions are met, like when they get their wings.
Maybe. They age like Pokemon is what you're saying. That's your theory.
Yes. That is my theory.
Huh.
Yeah. And that's the subplot. They turn him over to one of the minor gorilla characters we've seen before, and they get into antics. And then I guess the others just disregard what the Phoenix said, and they go back to try to melt the mountain anyway. and they get surprised by the mammoths. Fighting ensues. Blah blah blah. Now the two big things I want to talk about during this episode are the gorilla and the phoenix's antics, and the tree thing, the homes, because that was a nice bit of world building, and then the mammoth fight where like Mungus got trapped. Those are very interesting. So first of all, the gorilla home. You mentioned during the episode there was a nice bit of world building, and I must agree, because the gorillas like eat their homes,
Yeah.
and then once it gets to a point where, what did they say when they just let it drop? Was it when there was nothing left to eat, or what?
Yeah, when they started eating through their walls, basically, when they ate everything and they're eating out the walls, then.
Yeah, they just moved to a new place, and
But I like that a lot. It's a different, like, you get a glimpse into what, like, that kind of guerrilla culture, I guess, or what they consider to be, you know, their own culture, and it's all based around eating. And eating out your home, and like, you know, kind of being together as just like this family unit, and like, it's a really interesting idea, eating out your own home, and I thought it was very creative. I really haven't seen a lot of stuff like that. I wish they did more stuff like that when they talked about like the different cultures of each of the tribes, and like, kind of like what they do.
yeah,
Make the world more unique.
quite.
Now, there is one big thing that happens later on. And that's like when they actually get attacked, they cut down her home like immediately and have it drop down. I was like, that's an absurd commitment to making sure these people do not attack. Because she's like, it could be a whole year to eat out our bedroom, or my bedroom over there. And she was like pointing to this, like, you know, this room that had like a bed and stuff. It took her an entire year to eat that. So she just cut down her house like immediately. They're gonna have to go for another couple of years
Yeah,
to eat like in her home. I don't know where her family's gonna stay, but presumably she was in a family of 5.
yeah, that was a very interesting thing that took place, but I don't know. Maybe there's another one we can move into. I don't know. And then with the mammoth thing, to where Mungus got, I guess, trapped. His foot was like under the ice, and the mammoths were like, "Oh, save my son, and we'll retreat." And I totally thought they were gonna double cross them, but no, they actually retreated when Laval and Krager, you know, helped them out. And then, of course, that was when she said, "It doesn't matter anyway." The real fight to the gorilla village. They were like, "What?" So, you know, that's whatever, but I found that interesting. Finally, the mammoths got some screen time. Your favorite character dynamic trio.
Yeah, I love those guys. You know, it's a nice dynamic, like going back and forth with by this dude and his mom, who doesn't appreciate him at all.
Yeah. So that was basically the episode. It ended as you'd predict. The kids fought back against the hunters, and they didn't get any chi, and the phoenix didn't get his wings, and the ice mountain wasn't melted, and the hunters weren't defeated. So I guess it really was just a filler episode, because the status quo was not changed at all. But they did introduce the phoenix and his wings thing, so you know that's going to come up later and probably be very important.
That's gonna be back pretty soon.
Yeah. And I did appreciate the fact that it showed the hunters do have a strategic mindset, and they're not just all about full-on laser fighting, which they know they're going to lose at, as the past 2 episodes have
Right.
evidenced. So with that being said, LJ, what'd you think of this episode?
Definitely not as good as the prior episode. You can tell it's filler. They were trying to stretch it out. I didn't like the kid very much. I pretty much didn't like him at all. He doesn't have any character whatsoever. The gorilla was very tolerable. She was very, very bubbly, very sporadic. That was nice to see. And yeah, like Kahi mentioned, the world building was actually a surprise. I was taken aback. But overall, you could still see the stupidity of Laval and Eris and pretty much everyone aside from the kid, who, again, I still did not really like, and the gorilla. Yeah, the villains, they did a good job. Kind of. Until it turned into Home Alone 1, and they didn't do a good job. It got defeated by a tree. That's that. Now, trust me, I do not say that lightly. I've been defeated by many things before. Many inanimate objects. Doors, walls,
Fences.
Cutouts, indoor walls. I mean, cutouts for doors in walls. Yeah, fences. Even once a street pole. But a tree sliding down a hill, chasing you because you're running?
Yeah.
That's sad. Not even I would do that. Not even that I could, but still.
I don't know why they just couldn't run to the side.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't the worst episode, but it kind of dragged on, at least for me it did. I mean, there were some funny moments, and yeah, like how he mentioned, the world building was nice. The mammoths, they were okay. But overall, I wasn't enthused. I really enjoyed the prior episode, so maybe that's it. But
maybe
that kid, though, he sounds annoying.
You know he's gonna be a main character.
Gosh dang it!
He's gonna be like a skid-ass character, probably even more because he's gonna be more prominent.
Yeah, instead of sorry, it's going to be electrical noises.
High
because
five.
High five. For some reason, his wings, which are supposed to be fire, make electric noises.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Maybe that's how their biology works. He uses some sort of electrobiomagnetic energy in order to spark the fire that ignites through his wings because they combust upon contact with the air.
Be quiet.
Kai,
Anyway.
I appreciate your effort. You really tried. You deserve a gold star for that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Wait.
I have one thing to say. One thing that irked me about pretty much both episodes, the inconsistencies in the explosions and the power of the fire chi. Obviously, it's powerful, but like, what is its limit? I mean, it runs out, sure. Does it run out faster than normal chi? Does it last longer than normal chi? Like, it's just there. Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, that's kind of my big thing with this whole season. They made it so hopeless for the first 3 episodes, and now it's too hopeful because they introduced the Deus Ex Machina too early. So I really wonder what they're going to do for the rest of the season.
There's also something though that kind of stands out here is that for some, I don't know what the connection is with Sir Fayar and the ice. Did he always have ice powers, or did he only get that after being thrown into the gorge?
It was when what did they call it? The Great Illumination. That's what gave all the hunters the ice powers.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of counterproductive, really.
Yeah.
Right. So what does Chi do for them? Because they already have ice powers. Like Chi gives everybody else fire powers. The fire Chi does. But does normal Chi just make them a little stronger, or?
Yes, they're not using ice.
What
They're not
exactly
using
is-
ice Chi. They're using Chi.
Right.
It
It's
does
normal chi.
because
Okay.
they already have inherent ice powers, so it doesn't do anything for them except
Right, the same way the Phoenix have inherent fire powers. Okay, all right, I guess that
it
makes
just
sense.
makes them super powered. And actually, no, I don't know what Chi does. It never seems to do anything other than make you glow and then arbitrarily make you quote unquote stronger, but it's never really displayed. Apparently,
I guess it also
it
powers
does stuff with
your-
speedors, yeah. And as a power
Yeah.
source, it's fine.
Mm.
But
Not the speedors.
yeah, they incorporated the redesign in an interesting way.
No, even though the gorilla, I forget her name. What's her name?
Galuna.
Galuna.
Galuna. Galuna Lovegood. That's what I'm calling her from now on.
It's almost Hawaiian.
Galuna Lovegood. Anyhow, so she, even though she was like mostly used for exposition in this episode. I actually kind of liked her. I liked her voice actor. I liked her as a character. Well, I guess not really her as a character. She really didn't show a lot of character, but I liked where this character is going. I do kind of agree with you with the kid. I'm not looking all too forward to seeing this kid from this point on, simply because he doesn't really have a lot of character to him. He's a kid, and that's his character. Like, he's young and doesn't know a lot about the world because he was kind of homeschooled in the Phoenix Temple in the sky. But at the same time, I don't know. Like, they could bring his character around in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
They also could not. I did like how there is, like, Laval and everybody takes very strong advantage of stuff nowadays. Like, as soon as they are being driven back, he's like, all right, we're gonna go attack the temple immediately. So they're going and attacking the temple. Sir Fangar is also taking advantage of stuff. When he hears about, like, someone just name drop, oh, we have a lot of chi, he's like, you do? Well, guess where we're going. You know, like, he doesn't kind of just throw it around. He's like, yeah, we need chi, so that's where we're going to go to, where you guys aren't. And he splits up his army and does a very nice strategy and is taken out by some BS moves of that tree over there, the bummer tree.
The bummer tree, dude.
The bummer tree, man. So the gorillas are there. Oh, one thing, I don't know, it's the previous episode. I didn't bring this up the previous episode. They had this one thing where they're really talking about religion. You know, like a big, it was like, it's just one talk between Laval and his dad as they're riding down in their cars, and his dad's like, yeah, I guess my views on the creation of this world are kind of messed up and wrong. And Laval's like, yeah, you know, it's kind of hard to believe, but there's stuff beyond what you can see, or like what you previously thought of. And Laval's dad's like, I don't know what to believe anymore. And it was kind of like, you really, I mean, they are talking about the creation of their world. They're talking about, like, you know, the stuff they believe and, like, why they built their philosophy around this legend.
Yup.
So it's interesting to know that, like, they've come to the fact that their gods are not real. The mother crocodile, the
Mother Wolf.
the queen, the mother wolf, yeah, the queen crocodile, or the great builders. None of them actually exist. It's the Phoenix. So it's an interesting thing to explore. I wish they could explore that a bit more. Probably won't, because, you know, but
Yeah.
at least they're touching upon it. That's nice.
Yeah. Interesting scenarios, that's for sure. I think that is a good place to leave it. One great episode. One okay episode. I still enjoyed it. It just wasn't up to the same caliber, I do not think. But I'm liking where this season's going. We got a lot more to go. We barely scratched the surface. So tune in next week, where we're going to be on time, talking about the episodes as we usually do. So I thank you all for watching, and I thank you too for covering as well. Anything to say?
For Ninjago!
Yeah. They need to go ahead and air that already. I'm sick
I
of
want to talk about it. I want to talk about it so bad.
Yep. But for now, thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week for the next exciting coverage of the Legends of Chima TV show. Thanks for watching.